My biggest takeaway from the game was Notre Dame is tight end you. We have a three-headed monster. Our good friend Paul Farrington was drawing a three-headed dragon in the studio earlier today, and it reminded me of Notre Dame's tight end core. Obviously, Tommy Tremble has been an absolute monster for them, both blocking and receiving. And then the freshman Michael Mayer, I mean, I'm excited to see him play for the next 3 or 4 years. He's looked great for us so far. And then Brock Wright brings in a really good third complement for Notre Dame. But, I mean, I think it kind of ties back into the fact that this is the most physically well-equipped Notre Dame team that I think I've seen in recent memory, and that includes the team that went to the playoffs. I mean, obviously, offensively, we've been grounded and pounded a lot, and then on defense, it feels like we don't really have a glaring weakness. We're pretty strong at all three fronts. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah has looked amazing at linebacker, and then obviously Kyle Hamilton and Sean Crawford nailing it down in the defensive back as the defensive backs, and then Dalen Hayes, Adi Ogundeji, and then the sophomore Isaiah Foskey has looked really good as well. This is such a physically talented Notre Dame team, and I think the tight ends seem to inspire that for me. I don't know. They've looked really good for me. What about you, Caroline?
They have. Well, I agree. And using those multiple tight end sets has been huge, really working them into the offense in such an important way. We saw Michael Mayer this weekend continue his dominant performance as a freshman, so seeing that quick impact from him has been huge. But you mentioned a lot of different players here, and you didn't really mention the O-line, which to me is one of the brightest spots in this Notre Dame team, really makes them as complete as they are and really goes along with those tight ends. And Chris, this O-line is one of the better ones we've seen, which is a big statement because Notre Dame is known as also O-line U, to go off of your tight end U statement there. But 353 rushing yards, and in those touchdowns from Kyron Williams, Ian Book, and Chris Tyree, they weren't touched once, which says something about the O-line. And so I think you can attribute a lot of that run game success to the O-line, and I want to see that continue in coming weeks.